I want to move to this now, the continuing impact of power cuts on the insurance industry. Santam says it recorded a 60% increase in claims for damage to sensitive electronics because of power surges. That's in the first 6 months of the year, by the way. The story is not any different with other insurers. I want to bring in Rowland Ramalingham. He's the head of non-motor claims at Santam, and he joins us to talk a little bit about that. Rowland, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Has there been a marked difference or escalation in power cut related claims this year, compared to before? And just give us a sense what the common type of claims are.
Yeah, good afternoon, Devan, to you and to your viewers. Definitely, we've seen a positive correlation between load shedding and more specifically the power surge claims in our personal and commercial lines of business. The impact has been both to immovable properties, maybe to a smaller extent, but more towards the content side of things. The type of claims that you're normally getting is damages to gate motors, pool pumps, alarm systems. And on the appliance side, it's more your TVs, your washing machines, your microwaves. But on the commercial side, we've also experienced huge losses, towards the dental and other types of machinery as well.
That puts not just the consumer or the client, but the insurance company in a bit of a fix, doesn't it? Because, you can only put aside so much provisions. And then we've just heard from the Ombudsman that, you might get situations where loan or claims could be rejected increasingly by the insurance companies, or you could very well find yourself in a situation where insurance companies stop paying for load shedding claims. Do you get a sense that we're moving towards that?
Yeah, I think most insurers, every policy is unique, but most insurers will cover you for power surges, not per se load shedding. But that being said, I think, we've seen that happen. We've seen a surge, definitely. If I look at the Santam results, we've seen a 60% increase in terms of, this first 6 months compared to the first 6 months of last year as well. So definitely on the increase. And both insurers will have to look now to see how do you recover more premiums, how do you increase your excesses if needs be, change your terms and conditions of your policy, but also maybe require more risk mitigation types of devices that policyholders can install.
I've just heard what you said a few seconds ago, so there could very well be an implication for monthly repayments or premiums on the cost of insurance going up as a result, directly or indirectly, of load shedding.
Yeah, that's correct, Devan. I think, every insurer will reassess their financials in terms of the cost of claims. And based on that, they will have to do, risk mitigation requirements to make sure that the book is sustainable. So definitely that's one of the options of the cards as well.
Rowland, to what extent, and many people may be asking this, to what extent could Eskom be held accountable for these damages or liable in any other way? I speak from a layman's perspective who looks at this and says, well, something's got to give here.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation to get into from a legal perspective. I think definitely, from a root cause or from a cause of action point of view or causation point of view, definitely there's a area to look into and possibly hold Eskom accountable to some extent. I think the challenge will always be proving the link, the actual load shedding to power surge and to claims here.
Yeah. And just very quickly as we wrap up, look, there's no indication that the stage 6 or stage 5 power cuts are going to disappear anytime in the near future. We still wait on Eskom and the department to tell us what the future holds in terms of power cuts in the short term. But no doubt, this is a condition now where devices are giving in and consumers or clients have to sort of prepare themselves accordingly. So what's the advice when it comes to damage or potential damage from this sort of source?
I think the fact that we know that, we've got the load shedding schedule, I think the most important thing, if consumers can remove some of the plugs where possible, over and above that, getting a qualified electrician to install surge protectors where possible. There's also power strips that you can install, with your plug points. Yeah, those are some of the basic things one can do. And I think just to just to come back to, the previous or earlier question in terms of claims increase, there's also, we've seen a rise in burglary claims. So I think it's important to just check your backup batteries to make sure they're working. And if you can, install inverters, and that's an option as well.
Just quickly before I let you go, because you touched on burglary claims. Of course, there's this sort of rule that you have to have your alarm on and the power has to be running through it for various reasons that are contractually based. What happens during a power surge? I mean, do the conditions still apply when you have a burglary during a power cut, for example?
Look, each insurer will view this differently. It's a warranty in terms of your policy conditions that you need to have an active alarm system. But understandably, in light of where we are with load shedding, those batteries don't last more than 2-3 hours at max. So when you get into stage 5, stage 6, and if it's for more than 3-4 hours, definitely insurers will have to look at, treating customers fairly and ensure that they factor the fact that those batteries do not have a lifespan more than 3 hours.
Rowland Ramalingham from Santam, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.